Hey humans, it's Hannah and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I do videos on creepy and disturbing things, so if that's also your thing, consider subscribing. We have a lot to unpack here, so let's get right into it. Grab some tea or coffee and get comfortable. There's a very strange person across several social media platforms that goes by the username youshouldntbelooking or youshouldntsee, and he's causing quite the stir. People are especially freaking out on TikTok because they don't really know what this is about. Now, I was personally about 99.999% sure that this is just an ARG, or also known as alternate reality game. But as of this morning, I'm now about 95% sure. So I'll talk about why that is later, but just on the tiny off chance that this is real, I'm gonna talk about it in a way that's respectful, since we may be dealing with somebody who is either extremely unwell or possibly real people getting harmed. Again, just on the tiny chance that there is anything real about this. So his account started gaining a lot of traction when he started posting really dark and creepy videos, and just recently, just this month in October 2020. Even more creepy, he has them set up kind of like horror movies, where he has these really cheery, happy songs playing in the background of the videos, and they don't match the tone of the video at all. I also have to say that the story has been really challenging to follow. So if you came here trying to get some clarity, I totally understand, and you're not alone in being a little confused. The whole story is a little bit discombobulated. It makes it even more difficult that in the last couple of days he's now posting things and then deleting them very quickly, and so we have no idea what order things are really in anymore. But luckily, our friendly internet sleuths have been screen recording things pretty much the second he puts them up in order to make sure that we can save them, and they've been posting it on a giant Reddit thread in the best order that they can. One more note here, as I go through the story so far and include clips of the video, I can only include clips that are either not graphic, or for the graphic videos, I'll be either skipping through those parts or blurring them out, because there's a lot of really graphic stuff in his videos. Even if it's fake, it'll break YouTube guidelines, so I'm gonna leave that part out because I don't want my channel to get in trouble. But I will still include clips as we go along so you can understand where we're going. So the very first video he posts is fairly uneventful. It's just kind of this footage of a rotting pumpkin. And then the next few videos, there's not a whole lot to unpack. They're just really dark with songs playing over them. The first really interesting video we get to is that our creator is wearing what looks like a latex glove, and he's dragging a suitcase across the floor. And the really creepy part is that there's this black liquid oozing out of the side of the suitcase onto the floor, and the watcher is supposed to assume that it's blood. Even creepier, the song Downtown by Petula Clark, which if you look up, I'm sure you'll recognize the song, is playing in the background. Then in the next video, we see him pulling this suitcase over a bridge and pushing it into a body of water below. And then we see him throw a big metal object after it, and I assume that that is the weapon of some kind, and that's what we're supposed to infer by that. Which, if this is just an ARG, I'm a little bit upset about the fact that they're littering and just dumping a ton of garbage into a body of water for the sake of a game, but... And then in the next video, we see a very scratched up hand flipping through the pictures in a notebook that we assume he drew himself, and it's a lot of faces and eyes in the notebook. You'll see faces and eyes are kind of a running theme in the story. A TikTok user that made a TikTok calling all painters that is trending through TikTok. You could find lots of videos like this, and that's playing in the background of this video, which is really eerie in itself because it's this really creepy footage of somebody playing along with a lighthearted TikTok trend.
Yo, calling all painters. Show your first painting, your smallest painting, your biggest painting, your favorite painting, the one that took the longest, and the one that took the shortest.
The next couple of videos are again uneventful, just a lot of dark, odd footage. And then the next video is one of the creepiest in my opinion. We see him stalking somebody down a road, or what we assume he's stalking somebody in this really dark footage. A really dark song by Tool is playing in the background, and we see the flash of a weapon that he's dragging across the ground as he follows this person. The next few videos again are fairly uneventful, just more of the same type of dark footage, more footage that includes his scratched up hand bands, and then more weird songs playing over them. We see a video of him near a railroad where a train goes by. We see clothes laying in the grass around him, and it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure that there's supposed to be a body underneath some of these clothes next to him, but it's really hard to tell in the video. It could just be clothes. We see a video of his very shaky hand with what we assume is the same glove because it's extremely ripped up, trying very hard to write something in his notepad or draw, but he's having a hard time because his hand is so shaky. This might indicate that his mental state is getting worse and worse, or that he's getting more possessed or more weak, however you want to interpret the story. And then on 10/18, which was just 2 days ago, all of his videos started to be deleted. Now we're in this weird limbo where he keeps posting things the last couple days, but then quickly deleting them. Like I said, it's very difficult to track because a lot of them are on TikTok, and then he's posting some to Instagram and then taking those down and making changes across different platforms, making it kind of hard to keep straight. But here's the most interesting videos since he started deleting them in the best order that I know. So on 10/19, which was yesterday, he does this live stream and we hear his voice for the very first time. You didn't catch that. You can hear him saying a couple things, but he seems to be saying possess in the video, which is usually one of the hashtags that he uses in his TikTok videos. And then almost midnight of that same night, 10/19, which as filming this was yesterday, he shows a video of just tarps. And then at 2:12 a.m. that same night, so very early this morning, he posts the video that is making everybody start to really freak out and take this seriously. Again, this is the video I really can't show because my channel, I might get flagged or get in trouble for the graphic material, but you're welcome to go watch the video if you're not triggered by that kind of thing. But it shows him wrapping what looks like a body in a tarp. It just shows the feet of a supposed corpse, and it's covered in the same looking substance from the suitcase, and it looks like he's wrapping it up. And I do have to say that it looks pretty realistic. If this is just an ARG, I'm not sure how he did that. 2:45 a.m. on 10/20, which was again really early this morning, about a half an hour later after the tarp video with the body, he posts another video that just says #goodbye. And it's a video of him implying that he took a cocktail of a lot of pills and washed it down with some kind of alcohol. So assuming that's not the last video, which it very well may be, maybe this was a very short story, but if it's not the last video, then I have no doubt that by the time I post this video, there's gonna be several more videos up. The story is moving extremely quickly, and it's actually hard to even write the script for this video because it's moving so fast. So I'm sure there's gonna be more up by the time I post this, unless that really was the end and he's implying that his character is now passed away. So let's get into the analysis of what's happening in the game itself, and then we'll talk about whether we think it's real or not. Now, first, I really have to give a ton of credit to the Reddit community here. The Reddit community made this fantastic subreddit by the same name that has all of the documentation and the videos, and they're trying really hard to put the clues together and figure out what this story is about on there. I'll leave a link to that subreddit in the description if you want to go join them, read more about this, and try to help them figure it out. That being said, the following analysis is based on things that were posted in Reddit, as well as comments on the videos and general discussions, but I formed my own opinions about it. So the first thing is that we think his name is Michael Morrill. On a now deleted Instagram post in which nobody seems to have saved a screenshot of, there was a bunch of garbage in this post, as well as a flash of a hospital ID tag that said Michael Morrill on it. And the tag also said that he was from Oregon. The Reddit community also nicknamed this man man Soggy. Since we don't know that his name is Michael Morell, we don't know for sure what his real name is, so they nicknamed him Soggy. And if you don't know why, it's because so many of his videos involve water, and the earlier videos he was often shown looking really wet and stuff like that, so they nicknamed him Soggy so that they'd have something to call him. So there's a few themes throughout the story. Like we already discussed a little bit, the eyes and the faces. After he deleted a lot of the stuff on Instagram, he once left up 3 pictures side by side, which were again deleted, but when they were up, they were all showed close-ups of a face and kind of centered on the eyes on different objects. When he shows his sketch pad, we see a lot of the faces he's drawn, and then of course his hashtags and the username himself, you shouldn't be looking. So it seems like eyes and seeing and looking is a big theme of the story. Reddit also found the theme of the butterfly and how he had just changed his profile picture to what had been this for a long time and then just changed it to this morning on 10/20. And then the hashtags he's been using on the TikTok account itself. The same hashtags are often used with running themes such as stop, you shouldn't be looking, possession, other things like it's done, no more, bad idea, almost done, soon, stop the hate, over, things like that. Based on these running themes, I think the overarching story is that he's being possessed. The hashtags often say possessed, the butterfly possibly transforming into something else, and also just the story showing this man going slowly over the edge. So those are kind of some of the overarching themes and some of the analysis on the story. But like I said, I don't think we know everything yet. I think that a lot of it, like I said, is very disjointed. And so more will come out as we put more of the clues together, but there might not be a whole lot of meaning in it either. I think it's just kind of a story of a man that's getting worse and worse and doing bad things. Now the really fun part of this video, let's talk about the possible explanations for what's really going on here. So I personally think there's 3 different possibilities. It's either fake, and this is an ARG, it's real, and this is a criminal posting his crimes on the internet, or it's kind of a combination where the crimes are fake, but the person is suffering from a severe mental illness, so they're posting these things, so it's kind of real and kind of not. I have a lot of thoughts. Let's talk about if this is fake. Let's assume it's totally fake and this is an ARG. Here are some of the arguments for why it could be an ARG. As I've discussed in other videos where we cover ARGs, it's very common not to admit that it's just a game in the ARG. It's actually kind of one of the unspoken rules in ARG land that you don't say it's an ARG. And the reason for that is that it shatters the illusion. It's supposed to be a really immersive and realistic horror game. That's the point. And so if you say that it is, then that shatters the whole thing and it ruins all the fun and the whole point of making one. So the fact that he's not giving us any indication that it's fake is totally common and not surprising at all. Also, a real murderer most likely would not post all his evidence on the internet. I didn't mean to sound so condescending there, but it's just a fact. Let me explain. I saw a couple people arguing about whether this is an ARG or not on Reddit, and somebody pointed out that, well, the Zodiac killer went so many years without ever being caught and hasn't been caught to this day, first of all. And second of all, the Zodiac killer sent clues and letters into the police station themselves and they still never figured out who it was. So this could totally be a real murderer and we don't know because they're flaunting it on purpose but don't think they'll get caught. First of all, the Zodiac killer was from the 60s and the 70s. We didn't get DNA testing for criminal cases until 1986. And it could have made a big difference in the Zodiac case. If the Zodiac killer existed today and didn't start killing until today, it's way more likely that we would have caught him just because our technology is way more advanced and our law enforcement are just generally better at investigating cases like that. Nowadays, somebody would have to be pretty dumb to display all their crimes on the internet. First of all, the FBI could easily track your location and your IP address. Even if you were using a VPN to try and block people from tracking where you are, the FBI could easily get around that if they wanted to. For those of you curious, they would simply go to the VPN provider and they could share the records with them. And even then, even if this didn't escalate to the FBI, it would still be a ton of evidence to leave behind and a huge risk on the criminal's part. If someone eventually found that suitcase that he dumped in the water, they could easily identify the victim and then possibly the perpetrator, and then they'd have tons of video evidence to use against you in court, and it would be an open and shut case. You would not have a chance. The Zodiac killer and other killers in the past that taunted the police, as far as I know, they didn't send actual blood evidence into the police or actual videotapes of their crime. They left just enough to taunt the police without actually giving them real evidence. Okay, but he's deleting the videos in order to hide the evidence. Well, deleting these videos also wouldn't do you any good. As I hope most of you know, you can't delete anything off the internet permanently. Plus, the creator has got to know that people are screen recording things the second he puts them up because they want to know what's going to happen. And then there's just the mere fact that the whole thing seems very intentional and set up. For example, why would a real criminal put happy songs in order to make the videos more sinister? Why would he go through the trouble of adding certain songs to the certain videos? And then there's also just all the connections, the themes, and the clues and the puzzles within it. And it also just seems unlikely that a criminal would go through all that trouble for the entertainment of people on TikTok. It's possible, yes, but highly unlikely. And I know what you're thinking, what about the pills at the end? If he committed suicide, then he could have totally been a real criminal because he posted all that stuff and then he's dead anyway. He could have easily staged that pill video, and it's highly likely that he did. He didn't show him actually taking the pills. We didn't hear any sounds indicating he was swallowing them, and the whole scene could have easily been set up. And then when he goes down, he like drags his hand down the side. It's all very dramatic and theatrical. People may also wonder why he never shows his face in any of the videos, and that could be more proof that he's a real criminal because he's trying to keep his identity secret. Well, like we've talked about in others, it's very common not to show your face in ARGs, and the reason is because you want to go live your normal life afterwards. It's in your best interest to stay anonymous so that you can just go live your life afterwards without anybody recognizing you or worried about what you're doing. Plus, it keeps the fun of the whole mystery element to the ARG if you never have an identity of the person doing it. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of this video, I was very close to 100% sure that this was just a game. And now, as of this morning, I'm about 95% sure. And the reason for that is the theories that this could be real. And this really is a killer among us. And we've all been watching real criminal murderous footage all this time. First of all, he is showing extremely erratic behavior, putting up videos, immediately taking them down, putting up other stuff and taking it down. It shows kind of this instability in probably his mental state. The real scratches on his hand, assuming that it's not makeup, it looks pretty realistic from the videos from what we can see. He put real scratches on his hand, so that's some real commitment to the game if this is fake, that he did some self-harm in order to make it more realistic. So a lot of people think that that might indicate that it's real, because who would be crazy enough to really hurt themselves like that just for the entertainment of the internet? It's totally possible that somebody would do that, but I do understand that the commitment to the story is impressive if it's fake, and it also, if it's real, it's a good indication that it's real. Then there's the bodies under the cloth. All the other props in the story could easily be staged, but how did he do the body under the cloth? We see actual feet of what looks like a corpse. Everybody is very concerned, myself included, that the body under the tarp is a real body. I do think it is possible that is staged as well. I think you could have a friend stay very, very, very still while you're making a very short video that's often 20 seconds long. You could do it. People do it in the movies. It is possible. But it does look so realistic that some people are concerned that that's proof that this is real. Another possible argument that it's real is, why would he post really scary stuff like that being fake, knowing that a lot of people would probably call the cops on him? There's been some mentions of people calling the authority already, but the creator, if it was a game, he had to know that posting really scary stuff like that, when a lot of people don't know what ARGs are, posting really scary videos like that, he had to know that a mom was going to watch that and immediately call the police, or a kid was going to tell their mom about that and immediately call the authorities. So that's actually kind of a good argument for it being real, because if it was fake, he might not have gone that far because he knew he could get in trouble. So it could possibly be real because he obviously doesn't care if people call the police because he's putting it on the internet. However, I've done research on this because I'm very curious about how people do stuff that looks criminal in ARGs, such as Ash vlogs, where it looks like people are being kidnapped in that ARG. And I've kind of looked into this a little bit before, and it is true that people setting up ARGs often plan it ahead of time, and it's not uncommon for them to call their local police stations and talk to them and tell them that they're doing this like art project, and so that if they see stuff or hear stuff about it, then at least the authorities will know that it's not real, even though the public is freaking out. And then there's the third possibility, that he didn't actually harm anybody, but he's just severely mentally ill and is posting very weird videos. Again, this theory is possible, but it seems the least likely to me. I'm not sure, first of all, where he would have gotten the body, the bloody suitcase and stuff, if he was just mentally unstable, or how he would have gotten a friend to agree to be his dead body just to make a video like that. So I don't think that some of the footage he's gotten indicates that maybe he's just a very unstable person that's not a murderer, but not trying to make a game either. I've come across a lot of accounts on social media, even TikTok accounts specifically, and people post these accounts saying that this must be some big internet mystery. What's wrong with this person? What are they doing? And it turns out that there's no mystery to it. The person has a mental illness and is suffering greatly, and they don't post weird videos like this. What they post when you're suffering from mental illness is likely just nonsensical ramblings. You post yourself being really paranoid that somebody's following you. You post just random stuff about the government out to get you and stuff like that. And so I think those people need, and I hope get, legitimate help. I don't want to give people with mental illnesses a bad name by perpetuating the idea that they could be posting erratic videos like this just for the fun of freaking people out. Most people that are suffering from mental illnesses are not violent at all towards other people, and they would have no interest in scaring people for no reason. My conclusion is that I believe this is an alternate reality game. He just started posting actual videos recently. He could have been planning this for months and we would have no idea. He could have planned all these scenes with his friends. His friends would help him be the dead body or the person that he's stalking, stuff like that. Scoping out locations for weeks on where to film. He could have been spending weeks talking to the authorities and letting him know that he was going to do this so that they knew that nobody was actually being harmed. He could have even pre-filmed some of this stuff. Given the pumpkin as the first video, I believe he did actually start filming in October, is my guess, but he could have spent a long time setting all this up in order to make it very convincing, because the last thing you want is for people to just make fun of you and instantly know it's an ARG and think it's all silly. If you're gonna make a really good alternate reality game, you want it to be convincing. So that's what I personally think. I don't think he passed away. I don't think he took his own life. I think that was completely set up, but I think he did that to end the story so it wasn't too long and maybe he won't post again. And then if he took his own life, the story's over no matter what. If it's real, then nobody can do anything about what he's done. If it's fake, then we'll never know because the character is dead now. However, of course, I wouldn't be complete without knowing what you guys think. So please leave me a comment below and let me know if you think this is real or if this is just an ARG. If you do think it's real, please give me some real solid reasons why you think that it's real. At this point, we have no evidence that this is actually real or that anybody is being harmed. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end, and I will see everybody in the next one.